Black Adam. I watched this movie, and I will have some thoughts, and I am going to do two reviews. We're gonna start with the non-spoiler one, and then we're gonna talk about the spoiler one. And I gotta say, the first part of this movie that I want to talk about is how bad the writing is in this movie. And what I mean by the writing, I really just mean the script and the dialogue. It is some truly atrocious shit in this movie. This is not a bad movie by any means, but anytime characters have to say lines of dialogue, especially throughout that first act, it is just terrible at several points throughout this movie. It's very clunky. It doesn't feel like real humans would say it. And the actors definitely try, but at times even they can't even make this terrible dialogue work. And like for example, so The Rock, you see this in the trailer. He resurrected, reborn. No spoiler there. And in the movie, he comes in and he says, he wakes up with this kid, and this kid's telling him, "This is your home," and he's like, "Then my home is no more." And this is like real dialogue in the movie. So yeah, just some truly terrible dialogue at several points throughout this movie. That was just like, what are you doing? It's just really bad dialogue. Um, but where this movie thrives is the action. At several points, it is really cool and really interesting. Though I do think this movie's a little too long. And it's weird to say that because this is a normal comic book movie running time. It's 2 hours. But if most of this movie is just action, there are a couple points where I think they could have trimmed down the action just to be a teensy bit shorter. Because at a certain point it got repetitive, but all the action for the most part was really good. The CGI was also pretty good. That was really good to see. And the jail, the Justice Society was also great. Doctor Fate being my favorite. Pierce Brosnan did a great job. Without spoiling anything, there's a very emotional moment with that character. I did like Hawkman. I did like Atom Smasher, even though a lot of people are going to call him a Deadpool ripoff because he's a more goofy character and the design of the character very similar. But I would argue he's most similar to Ant-Man, mostly because his powers revolve him growing big or whatever and stuff. He doesn't really shrink, but he grows big. But I mean, he's a fun character. And I forget the other girl, though the actress was kind of cute. And she played that character well. I had fun with that. The Rock was not as terrible as he is in other movies. They gave him the right amount of things to say when he needs to say it, but though he was very bad in the moments where, like I said, the dialogue is really bad because he tries to bring levity to it and help it, but at certain points, even he can't do that. And yeah, overall, this movie's a mediocre movie. There's nothing here that you're really going to remember too much other than the JLSA, or yeah, the Justice Society, basically, because they're really great characters, and you can see how they can be expanded on to be even greater. But like Black Adam isn't too memorable himself. He doesn't. He has an interesting conflict about being an anti-hero, but it's not even like super great, super profound. This movie is just nothing you've seen before, nothing you can't predict. It does what it needs to do, and that's fine. But if you're looking for something more from this genre of movie at this point, I mean, we're not getting it here, and that's okay. I do think this movie does a good job of expanding the universe of DC, and I'll talk about that more in a spoiler review. And you can see how this really is opening the door for other things, and I'll explain more about that in my spoiler review. But I would say go see this movie because it is a fun time at the movies. There hasn't been a blockbuster for a while. It's better than Smile. It's better than Halloween Ends. I didn't hate Smile. I did hate Halloween Ends, but like there are better things to watch out there than those movies, and this is one of them. And if you want a really good time at the movies, I highly recommend you go see this, especially with the end credit scene being as big as prompting as it is. If you want more of that, good reason to go watch this movie. Just times it's just disappointing. I mean, because I look at this and I go, we have three DC movies. Excuse me. I love the Batman, and then I really enjoyed DC Super Pets. So when I was watching this one, I was kind of hoping we'd keep on that streak, and we just kind of got a mediocre movie, and so it just felt a little sad. But it's all right. I still had fun, and I'll still buy this movie day one on 4K, and I got that Black Adam statue I'm already bought. So yeah, I that's all I really need to say.